In this video, you'll see a consultation I did with a restaurant owner who had questions about how to use a cooking show to expand his existing restaurant operations, as well as provide a transition out of the restaurant industry in the future. As any restaurant owner knows, this is a very rigorous, demanding business, physically demanding. It takes so much of your time, and this is not something that you can do forever. So you're going to need a transition plan at some point. And that's one of the major things that we discussed in this consultation is how to use a cooking show to, again, grow his existing restaurant operations right now, as well as provide a transition in the future so that he can get out of running a restaurant and still earn a fantastic living doing what he loves. So if you're a restaurant owner who's curious about how to use a cooking show to make your life better right now, as well as in the future, this video is for you.
No.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I can do it. Hi.
Good afternoon,
Can you
sir.
hear me?
How are you?
Very good. Yourself?
I'm doing great. How can I help you?
Well, I came over your website through a podcast, and I find it quite interesting. I run a small restaurant company in Norway, and we've been thinking about doing a cook show, but I haven't got the skills.
You
Like
know how to
make,
cook?
I know how to cook. Yeah, that's no problem. But I don't know how to make a cook show.
Okay. What?
Um,
Go ahead.
Sorry?
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's more or less that. I would like to promote my restaurants, and I will do it in with my head chef. That's our plan. But we need some help to get started.
I would say start with your smartphone. This is the only camera you need to get started. And it really is as simple as that. You just need to record that. Have you recorded any video of yourself cooking?
Nah, I can't say so, no.
Okay, so
we had some professionals do it, and we've been participating on some TV shows.
Yeah, I would say start with your phone, and this is something that I see with the more experienced the chef is. It's kind of this paradox. The more experience you have, the less likely you are to do a cooking show because you overthink it and you think it has to be all this. And home cooks run circles around professional chefs when it comes to cooking shows. You may have more technical experience than they have, and technical knowledge and culinary training, and been to the best schools and run restaurants. But when it comes to just standing in front of a camera and teaching somebody how to cook something, home cooks run circles around professional chefs because they don't know enough to be scared. They just do it. They don't overthink it. They just do it. And that first video was going to be really hard. It's the hardest one you're ever going to make because you have so much to learn. And the second one is going to be way easier. The third one easier than that. And after a while, by the time you get to 10 videos, if you stick with it that long, and most people don't, you can find an unlimited number of YouTube channels with 2 or 3 or 4 cooking videos on it. Nobody makes it to 10, but if you stick with it to make it to 10, and then now you have a process in place, because you can't get to 10 if you haven't figured out some efficiencies. How do I make this not as difficult? How do I do this and then have it not be as difficult as it was the last time? So my advice to you is just pick a simple dish, put your phone on a tripod, press record, and talk to the camera as if it were a guest in your kitchen. If it were a person sitting there and you were teaching them how to prepare this dish, and just talking to them about it. And that first video, you don't even have to publish. The world doesn't have to see it. You just need to record it. You need to go through the process of setting up the camera, positioning it, framing it up so that everything looks correct. You're gonna wear a mic, you're gonna put your mic on, and just go through the process of making that video that if it's not great, nobody ever has to see it. But you're gonna learn so much. There's no loss in learning by not publishing the video. You're going to still get all of the benefits, all the knowledge that you're going to acquire from making the video, but you don't have to publish it if it's not great. So I would start there. Do you have a problem with that process? How does that sound to you?
That sounds very wise.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
make that first video, man. This is the only camera that you need.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds like a good way of doing it.
And this is going to be to promote your restaurant.
Well, yes, we would like to do something to promote our restaurants, but then we need to. I'm 51 years old now. So is my business partner, and we're thinking like maybe think about the next step.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, so it's an excellent exit strategy for professional chefs because that's a hard industry, man. Whether you're running a restaurant, a catering business, a food truck, the food industry is hard. So if you are thinking in terms of what's how you're going to earn a living for the rest of your life and still continue doing what you love, teaching people how to cook is an excellent way to do it. And you probably, how long you guys been in business?
With our current project, we've been close to 13 years. But in the business, I've started doing dishes in 1989.
Wow. So
Yeah.
you already have people who are willing to pay you to teach them. You just haven't offered it, or have you? Have you ever offered any kind of cooking classes?
No, never.
Yeah, you got people. So you can get paid to teach people how to cook. You can teach home cooks how to cook better. You can teach aspiring chefs the business of food. So what they learn in culinary school and what it takes to actually run a commercial kitchen, run a restaurant. Completely, those two different worlds.
Yeah,
You can
that's
get
true.
paid to teach that. So if you are looking to transition, then yeah, you have more than enough knowledge, expertise, experience to earn your living from teaching what you know rather than actually running a restaurant kitchen. There's folks who their dream is to open a restaurant and signing up for your coaching program where you training them on teaching them with the business of food. Some of those people are going to learn that they really don't want to open a restaurant, which is just as valuable as learning what they need to do to open it. Because for some folks, they're going to cash out their life savings to open a restaurant and then find out that this is really not the life that they want to live. They're much better off paying you to teach them that up front so that they don't make that investment and take their family with you with them. Because you know this, if you own a restaurant, your family's in a restaurant business. They're in there with you or they're without you because you're in the restaurant so much. So this is a reality check that a lot of people need. They have this romantic notion of what owning and operating a restaurant is, and they really have no clue what a day-to-day grind it is and the toll that it takes on you as an individual as well as your family. So yeah, you can get paid to teach people that. You can get paid, and the folks who listen to that and say, yeah, I think I really want to do this. I have a calling to do this. You can teach them everything they need to know to be successful. All that stuff that you had to learn the hard way, you can get paid to teach that. There's plenty of people who would pay you. just think about who you were 20 years ago, or you've been in the business longer than that. But let's just say 20 years ago, what you know now that you did not know then, would you have been willing to pay somebody to accelerate your knowledge by 20 years in 1 year?
Yeah, of course.
So
Yeah,
yeah, that's that's definitely a transition strategy if you're looking for what's coming next after the restaurant. Teach, man. That's some hard-earned knowledge that you have. You can absolutely get paid for it.
hmm. So, what are you doing actually? Like,
What do
how
I do?
program?
I teach people how to do this, how to do, whether they want to teach home cooks how to cook, or some folks just want a cooking show because it's something fun that they want to do. Some people is have folks who have already retired from something and they're looking for something to occupy their time, and this is what they want to do. They want to be a chef and a food educator in their next stage. I get restaurant owners, folks like you, restaurant owners, catering business owners who are ready to transition out of it, whether it's because of the amount of time that it's taken from them, or I get folks who have physical, it's taken a physical toll on them, and they just know they cannot continue dealing with the rigors of running a food business. And so I teach them how to, one, start the cooking show. That's the first step. Get that first episode done. Once we've gotten that first episode done, which is the big hump, now we have to develop your system for how you're going to publish on a weekly basis. And once you've gotten that in place, now you have the foundation for building whatever type of business that you want to build, whether that's teaching people how to cook, teaching people the business of food, uh, teaching people how to run a restaurant, how to run a catering business, whatever that is, whatever the business is that you want, that sits on top of publishing this cooking video every single week, because that's where your credibility comes from, as well as your marketing. Nobody's going to know you exist if you're not doing something to put yourself in front of the world on a consistent basis. And for a chef, there's no better way to do that than a cooking show. And then you can use that to do pretty much anything you want.
It's intriguing, I have to say. Yeah.
Yeah, we're in a fantastic time, man. This wasn't, if you go back just 10 years ago, this wasn't really possible. I mean, it was possible at much greater expense. It wasn't that long ago where you actually needed to hire a video professional to record you because the equipment had not become intelligent enough that the average person can just use it. Like we all now, the phones that we carry around produce a drastically higher quality video than the television cameras used by the TV industry that produced all of the stuff that we grew up watching on TV and in the movies. We now have a much more high resolution camera that we all just walk around with in our pocket. And you just point it and press record and it does the rest. We didn't have that very long ago. So now we're just in a time where folks like you who have expertise that you want to share, technology has gotten us to a point where it's really not that hard for you to do that, for you to communicate with the world. I mean, this didn't exist when we were growing up.
No, that's for sure. You can see the amount of pictures that I have of my kids versus the amount of pictures my parents had of me. It's quite a.
So yeah, that's what I do. I teach folks our age how to now earn a living a different way using that knowledge, because this wasn't a thing when we were growing up. It wasn't a thing when we graduated from high school and went to the workforce. And so we're in just really a great time where people who have reached middle age have so many options for earning a living that just did not exist before. And it's really about just a very simple, a small learning curve to learn how to use the technologies that are available today to capitalize on the big learning curve that's already behind you. Those decades that it took to learn what you learned, what you know, that was the hard part. The easy part is learning how to use these platforms that we have now that allow you to make yourself available and sell your knowledge to the world. That's nothing compared to the decades that it took to get the knowledge that you're actually going to sell. So yeah, that's what I do. Help folks like you monetize your knowledge.
Yeah, because my first thought is we run 4 restaurants in Norway, and we've been thinking about doing some more videos. We've been on TV. We'll do like I've done just some basic cooking, like commercials and that. But we would like to promote our restaurant. That's probably the first thing. We're launching a new concept, and I was thinking that would be cool to just we launched in a Greek restaurant, and my plan was to maybe have a cooking show or something that will tell the world what we're going to do. Greek is not very big where I live, and I lived in Greece for years. My business partner is Greek, and I think we have a story to tell there.
Oh man,
which could be quite cool.
Yeah,
cool to try to find out, to get it out before we actually open the restaurant as well.
Yeah, this is an excellent marketing strategy for the restaurant. This is how you get a packed house on day one, because they can start following that journey, buying into the story before the restaurant is actually open. And then, when you let your audience know that, oh yeah, here's the opening date, they're already invested in the restaurant. They've been watching the videos, they've gotten to know you and your partner. They're already interested. And now they get to actually go meet the chef that I don't know how it is in Norway. In the US, YouTube is actually the #1 TV streaming app now. They took over first place from Netflix. So more people are watching YouTube on their big screen television at home in the US than any other streaming platform. So if it's the same or similar in Norway, that means you're having your cooking show on YouTube, means you have a cooking show on TV. People are watching you at home on their big screen TV and having the opportunity to meet a TV chef. That's the guy I've been watching. The restaurant's open now. Come on, let's make an event out of it. That's all that. You get to advertise on TV now, which again, when we were growing up, that just wasn't possible. It wasn't possible. But yeah, that's a great idea that you have. And with you wanting to introduce Greek cuisine, anytime you're introducing a different culture's cuisine, that's something for people to be excited about. They grew up eating whatever the traditional foods are where you are, and now you're introducing something different, some different flavors, some different cooking techniques. That's going to appeal to people who like to eat. That's also going to appeal to people who like to cook. They might be a master at Norwegian cooking, but they don't know anything. So the kitchen's not really a challenge for them. But now we're going to introduce them to recipes from a different culture. Now the fun and excitement has come back to being in the kitchen. This is a challenge.
Mm.
I'm going to make this dish, and we're going to see if it comes out right, because I don't know, because I haven't done this before. Even though I'm at level 10 on, with traditional Norwegian cooking, this is something entirely different. I might mess this up. That's fun and interesting. It's a challenge. So yeah,
Mm.
absolutely do that.
Mm.
How far out are you from opening that concept?
I guess we just starting investigate. My guess is that we are 9 months to a year for.
Oh man, that's perfect. You
Yeah.
got plenty of time. Like this. The beauty of doing everything that you would do to promote this concept and do on YouTube, it costs nothing. You don't need a
Well,
building. You don't need, all of the things and the expenses that are going to be associated with actually opening the physical place. None of that applies to you talking about it on YouTube.
that's true, actually. Yeah. Yeah,
You
no,
can,
I wouldn't mind investigate this
oh
further
man,
out.
you can introduce your menu on YouTube, like as your, and you can help people craft it. So like I'm certain that at this point you haven't decided what your actual menu is going to be, the official menu. So you can just put dishes in front of people and say, these are different things that we're thinking about, tell us what you think. You can do polls on YouTube and let people vote. You could let your menu be voters' choice if you want it. Like you can do a number of different polls, and like, here's 3 or 4 entrees to choose from. And you put a photo, because you can do photo polls on YouTube. Which of these looks best to you? What do you and you can actually let people choose the menu. And now they're really invested. So when the restaurant opens and it's got all these items on the menu that they had a part in choosing, they already know what they want to order before they get there.
Yeah, that's true.
Have fun with it, man. Like, that's what I tell my folks. You got to have fun with this. This is work, but it's fun work. Like, you're a chef with your own TV show. Have fun with it. Do what you want.
How much time do you invest in a weekly episode?
What I
Approximately.
recommend, what I recommend is you pick one day a month and you record 4 to 6 episodes,
Okay.
and then you hand that off to your video editor, and then you got 4 to 6 weeks worth of videos. So this really does not interfere with your normal routine. We're talking about taking, and that one day you're professional chef, so you're gonna cook fast. That's probably 4 to 6 hours that you're gonna do all of those videos, and that's your requirement for the month.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. That sounds interesting. So,
Yeah.
if you start working too, what would that look like?
So what I do is I train folks online. I have a private membership community. You're in the free part of it right now. The coaching part of it, well, I have two options. One option is coaching. One option is self study. In the coaching portion of it, you get access to we do 2 group Zoom sessions a month like this, where everybody comes together and we discuss whatever it is you need to discuss. I have a curriculum for the year for 2025 where I'm walking you step by step through creating this cooking show and then building the business on top of it. So we have this framework in place, but of course everybody's in a different place. They're starting from a different place and they have different objectives. So the program is going to be unique to individuals in that regard, but we also have the general framework that everybody can follow. And in the community, you're able, in the coaching community, you're able to post your questions as you have them. That first video, or all your videos as that we're talking about, but particularly that first one, you get to post that video in there where nobody gets to see it but me and the other people in your who are in there being trained. So I can review that video and give you professional critique on it. I can tell you what you need to improve, where you did great, and we can go through the iterations to make that video, make your first video that's going to be available to the public acceptable. We have a standard that we want to meet for you, and it's in the training community where you can do the iterations to meet that standard without having to do it in front of the world or try to figure it out by yourself. I'm looking at the video and I go, yep, change this, fix this. This was great. Make the next one, publish it in here, and I'll take a look at it. Yep, this was perfect. Go ahead and publish it. This one's ready for the public. And once you've learned what this, how to meet the standard, everything that you need to have in place, now you can just go. You can just crank out your videos with the confidence that this is done correctly and it's going to reflect well on you and your business. And that's what the coaching program is. And then, of course, the monetization, building your business, how you're going to get paid to teach. Like, if we want to discuss which of the revenue avenues you're interested in. So do you want to teach people how to cook? Do you want to teach people the business of food? People who are aspiring to be professional chefs or restaurant owners? Do you want to do both? What is your coaching program going to look like? How much time do you want to put into this? How much do you want to make yourself available to people? Do you want to do it cohort based, where, let's say, it's a 8-week program that you do twice a year, January and February and August and September, for example? Whatever it is, like, we got to figure out what is the curriculum that you want to provide to the people who you're training. How much are you going to charge for it? How are you going to promote it? Like, all of those things, that's what the coaching program is for, is to help you first get this cooking show going, and then figure out what kind of business you want to build on top of it, and then help you build that business. So that's the coaching program. And then there's also a self-study program just for people who want to do self-study. You work at your own pace. You get access to an online course, and you get to just use the course and work at your own pace to follow the instructions and get your cooking show going.
Okay, all right. It sounds to me that maybe some critique and some coaching is probably the way to go.
Okay. Excellent. I would recommend, if you're going to do that, do it before January. So if you sign up now, before January, so it's a quarterly, I charge quarterly for it. So it's 90 days. And then if you want to continue, you continue. If you don't, if you got what you needed, great. It only takes 5 days to start your cooking show under my program. So plenty of time. But do it before January, because right now I'm in the founding member phase. This is a new program that I launched, a new way of delivering my coaching that I launched. And so everybody who joins now is a founding member, and you're joining at the founding member price, $9.97 per quarter. On January, when we get to January, it's going up to the standard price. It's going to start at $10,000 per quarter. So I'm telling everybody, look, if you ask your questions now, come to these Q&A, make sure that this is what you want. And if it is, sign up in December rather than waiting until the new year, because it's going to cost significantly more when the calendar turns.
Yeah, that's a steep incline. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm interested. I have to say. I'll have to say.
Good.
Um, I'll have
Mhm.
a. I'll have a little. I need to form a little bit in my head how to what I picture the show to be.
Okay.
So I have basically I was thinking about commercials. The coaching part is interesting as well, but I might not be now. It has to be. That's the moment I'm running restaurants and opening a new one. I can't see that I have the time yet, but hopefully that's where I'm in the future. And somewhere we have to start. And I would love to learn how to do videos. I have to say.
So for your coaching program, you're in the perfect situation. You can start even though you're not ready to start. So you can create your waiting list. You can just announce it. Hey, this is coming. Can't tell you when because I'm not sure yet, but I've just gotten to a stage where I want to share my knowledge and teach people the business of food so you don't have to learn everything the hard way like I did. Sign up here so that I can notify you when it's time. So you can build up and then you just have a simple form that they can fill out, whatever questions, intake questions you would want to ask. And all they're doing is putting themselves on a list so that you can email them whenever you get ready. So when that time comes for you to launch that program, you don't have to go find those people. That might be a year from now, it might be 2 years from now, whenever you're ready. You've already built the list of people who are interested and you just send that email. So that's how you do that.
Okay, yeah, that sounds wise.
Yeah.
Is it possible to bring to have another Q&A with you in the next week or days?
Yeah, I'm doing this every day, not every day, almost every day in December. Just
Oh,
trying to
okay.
give as
Yeah.
many people as many opportunity. So the same place you went to see the event list of, you go back there, you're going to see multiple days. Like it's almost every day. I'm going to be doing this in December to give folks as many opportunities as possible to ask their questions and get the help they need to make a decision.
All right, cool. Then I'll do some thinking and I'll come back to you.
Okay,
So
excellent.
it's very interesting, how to say. Cool.
Please tell me. I'm looking at your name. How do you pronounce it?
Well, you have to be Norwegian, man. I lived abroad and everyone called me Terry. And
Terry.
you pronounce it
Okay.
Tarje.
Say it
Yeah,
again.
Tarje.
Okay.
Yeah,
Tadia.
not at all.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, that's probably the best pronunciation I ever heard from someone not from Norway. uh, it's Tarje Hogstad. That's me.
Okay.
Even
Well, I'm so
Norwegian find
glad
it out.
glad to meet you.
Glad to meet you too. It's just been very interesting, and yeah, I'll have a good old thought and thinking about it, and I'll come back to you.
Excellent.
Yeah,
You have a great day, sir.
you too. A great night, actually. It's
Oh,
9:30 in the evening here now.
what what 9:30? So you're 6 hours ahead of me.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So like if if you had come tomorrow, the session that's tomorrow would have been, so that one's 10 a.m. So it would have been tomorrow afternoon for you.
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
So yeah. I try
yeah.
to
We can work with that. Yeah,
put different times because because of this very issue, the time zone. Um, I'm on the East Coast in the US. I got West Coast people. Every once in a while, I get somebody from outside the country like you, and I have no idea what time zones people are going. So I do what I can to accommodate, but there's just no way to do it.
yeah.
That works for everyone.
I appreciate that though. It's that's the beauty with the internet though. I mean, 9:30 is not late, and
Yeah,
you guys are awake in the States, and yeah.
yeah. So I love the ideas that you have. The everything that you have, the vision that you have, is perfect for this. Um, it's going to make it easier for you to do the things that you're already doing with your restaurant. It's going to make it easier for you to do the things that you want to do with your new concept and your eventual transition out of operating a restaurant on a day-to-day basis. Like, oh, this is you're in a stage of life where you have a lot of knowledge to share. And if you want to do it, the internet and YouTube in particular makes it easy for you to do and earn a fantastic living doing it. So you're on the right path. Just don't overthink it.
Yeah, true. But you're correct. I mean, it's I always found it hard to be in front of the camera because I like to have everything perfect. And but on the other hand, yeah, who notice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way I explain it to folks, the home cooks are not going to notice the mistakes you make. It's because your level of skill is so far above theirs. And the professional chefs who would notice are not watching your cooking show because they don't care. They don't need you to teach them how to cook. So
Exactly. That's a lot of points. Yeah. Okay, all right, and I'll work a little bit with my ideas, and I'll come back to you and try to present it in a more in more details and see what you think about it and how we could move ahead.
Okay, excellent. All right, man. Have a good evening, and I'll see you next time.
Definitely. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye. If you're watching this video in December of 2024 when I initially published it, I want you to really give some consideration to joining my Food TV Council as a founding member. As a founding member, you get to join at a special founding member price that expires on December 31st. On January 1st, the price is going way up. So if you like the idea of using your cooking show to educate people and create a better life for yourself as well, financial freedom by using your knowledge and skills to educate people instead of working in a hot kitchen or doing whatever it is you're currently doing, that's what the Food TV Council is about. And what it's also about on a much bigger scale is just teaching people how to eat better for themselves as well as for our planet. In the United States, we have a huge problem with obesity and diabetes, high blood pressure, all manners of cardiovascular disease. Stroke is the fourth leading cause of death in the United States, and 80% of strokes are preventable through dietary changes. That's according to the Centers for Disease Control. I don't know any family that has not been impacted by strokes and or diabetes, including my family, and this is something that we can do something about through our food choices. People are literally eating themselves to death or disability, and this is something that we can change by making better food choices. And it's not just about people making poor decisions, it's about the overwhelming abundance of poor choices that are presented to us, because in the United States, more than half of the calories consumed in a day by the average American are from ultra-processed food. Ultra-processed food is manufactured food, engineered food. It's stuff that you can't make in your home because it contains chemicals that are not available for you to purchase anywhere. And this is a real problem.
We've got an epidemic. And that epidemic of obesity and kids being overweight absolutely leads to a radical increase in the number of people with diabetes. And it's not only diabetes, it's other related illnesses. So keeping kids healthy and away from ultra-processed food, unhealthy food, enormously important for the well-being of our people.
In a free market, can large food companies be held responsible or culpable for
that's a great question.
choices?
That's a great question. And the answer, I think, is yes. And, you know, we learned something in terms of what Congress did 50 years ago. The Congress had the guts to say to the tobacco industry, very powerful people, sorry, you can't cause hundreds of thousands of people to die every year by enticing them to smoke. And as a result of that and other public health measures, by the way, we have reduced the amount of smoking in America very significantly.
You see the food industry in some ways akin to big tobacco decades ago.
Absolutely. And in fact, their strategies and their tactics are akin to big tobacco.
What's the cost to society?
Diabetes itself, I think, is running up a cost in healthcare dollars of some $400 billion. Unless we get a handle on this issue, that it will grow. So bad food, obesity, diabetes is a very expensive proposition for the American people.
The responsibility of regulating foods falls mostly in the lap of the Food and Drug Administration, which regulates about 80% of the American food supply. I spoke with the FDA commissioner to learn how they do it. How does a new additive, a new chemical that's not been on the market, get introduced into our food systems? And what role does the FDA play there?
If someone wants to add something to food, they have to petition the FDA, and the FDA has to consider the evidence about that substance. There's a term called GRAS, and in order for something to be qualified as GRAS, there has to be a consensus of the scientific community and the evidence that it actually is safe.
GRAS substances are food additives that are generally recognized as safe. The designation was created in 1958 to waive FDA review of common, time-tested ingredients like vinegar and baking soda. Companies could petition the FDA to have a substance added to the GRAS list. But in 1997, the FDA loosened the protocol, allowing companies themselves to declare substances as GRAS without notifying the agency. Experts like Emily Broad-Lieb, director of Harvard's Food Law and Policy Clinic, says this creates a loophole that gives companies a provisional green light.
Thousands of substances have entered the food supply during that, using that mechanism. And again, FDA can always afterwards say something is no longer generally recognized as safe. They've done that with artificial trans fat or partially hydrogenated oils. But there's so many substances that, you know, it really is, I think, challenging given the resources FDA has to really be on top of that all the time.
The Environmental Working Group, a nonprofit, found of nearly 800 food chemicals introduced between 2000 and 2021, 99% of them avoided FDA scrutiny using the GRAS designation. But the number is likely even higher. It doesn't include the unreported declarations. GRAS is a pathway that many companies have used the vast majority of times, as opposed to petitioning.
We're looking at every aspect of what we do. And as we've just discussed, there are laws that govern these patterns of how one gets things on the market and how they're regulated and then evaluated. I think in this era of technology, there's going to need to be a change in how we look at these issues.
One report estimates the number of chemicals approved for the use in U.S. food to be around 10,000 as of 2011. Nearly 5,300 FDA-approved additives and more than 4,600 GRAS substances. In comparison, their European Union has only approved over 400 additives and does not have a GRAS equivalent. How do we account for that disparity, and how is it that some chemicals that are in our foods have long been banned elsewhere?
Different societies have different degrees of tolerance for uncertainty and different laws that determine what the regulators can do as substances are added. America's a country that likes individual choice and access in general. And I think our laws reflect that sort of national sentiment.
Ultra-processed food is where all of this obesity, diabetes, and high blood pressure is coming from. Too much salt, too much sugar, too much fat in these foods, as well as all these other chemicals that we don't even know about. And we just have to eat better. We have to eat better to take care of our individual health and our family's health, as well as take better care of our environment, because this climate change that we're all experiencing, a large part of it is driven through our food choices. What we're eating is contributing to global warming. And again, we can make better choices for our individual health as well as for the health of our planet. And that's what the Food TV Council is all about. Chefs who are using YouTube and television quality cooking shows, like the TV shows that you grew up watching, the cooking shows you grew up watching, using the cooking show as an education platform to teach whatever your philosophy on food is. And hopefully your philosophy involves healthy eating, sustainable eating. And those are the chefs who I'm looking to work with and train in my Food TV Council. So again, I would encourage you to consider joining as a founding member right now. If you're watching this in December 2024, all you have to do is use the link in the description box to join my cooking show accelerator. It costs nothing to join. And then once you join, sign up for one of the live Q&A sessions. That also costs nothing. That's the same thing that the chef that you just watched in this video did. He joined the cooking show accelerator. He signed up for a live Q&A session, and he got a consultation where he got the guidance that he needs to make decisions about how he's going to proceed with the future, with his future as a professional chef. That's what I'm here for. I'm trying to help you. I'm making myself available as much as I can, but you have to take the action because I can't help you if you don't take a step forward. So again, use the link in the description box, and I look forward to having a conversation with you.